Welcome back. At the dot of 10:30, the Chief Election Commissioner, flanked by the other election commissioners, announced the poll dates. It's going to be a 9-phase election, up by 2 from 2009. Many people already raising eyebrows in the political establishment. We have got varied responses. The Samajwadi Party very, very critical, saying that this is not only going to be a huge burden on the resources of the country, but also a burden on the political parties, because now they'll have to spend a lot more money. Many people already saying that since money is such a big determinant, this will be a great disservice to smaller parties, to independent candidates, maybe even parties such as the Aam Aadmi Party, etc., who are trying to fight toe-to-toe with the big boys. There's another side to it, of course, and that side defends the election commissioner and goes out to suggest that an ordered poll is what is required. It doesn't matter if it stretches across 9 phases, because the number of days remains either the same or is just under the number of days set aside for elections across 7 phases in 2009. So the Election Commission has only broken it down further, but kept the number of days the same. There are two sides to this debate: whether it's important to conduct an organized campaign, an organized election, or a resource-intensive campaign. That will obviously be a debate that will rage on and on. But also, more fundamentally, on the 16th of May, which is a Friday, you'll have the results. So we will know, if we are lucky, who is going to be Prime Minister, which alliance is going to win, or which party, if it comes down to that, is going to win this election. We have with us our guests on the show. We have been debating over the last 1 hour or so on who really has the momentum going into this election. We have our panelists who have been answering questions that we've been putting out. On our lower bands, as it's called in television parlance, there they are, 10 questions. We have been weaving our debate around that. Prabhu Chawla, Fawad Halim are with us, apart from our other panelists. Mr. Prabhu Chawla, let me just quickly come out to you. Before we took this break, we were looking at whether this election was a fight between two ideologies and two coalitions, the UPA and the NDA. Divided opinion on this particular panel. Where do you stand, sir?
I think where is the UPA and where is the NDA? UPA is only Congress, NCP and National Conference. They don't exist anywhere else. There are two small states. One in Maharashtra, of course, is the biggest state. National Conference exists in J&K. And NDA, you were talking about, they exist only in Maharashtra and in Punjab, and rest of that's BJP. Where the NDA, they are very narrow alliances, but maybe their leaders are taller, because Rahul Gandhi is campaigning on one side and Modi is campaigning on the other side. They are high-profile campaigners. But as far as the political spread is concerned, they are very narrow spread, because they don't exist in many of the places. Congress party may exist in terms of number of followers in various parts of the country, but BJP doesn't exist in most of the part of the country. There is a third front which is more important as well. When you're talking about two ideology, I don't agree, because my feeling is that secularism is becoming now much more a divisive factor, because it divides the country into communalism and secularism. It's a development which is going to be a unifier now. Because people are realizing, the young voters who are coming out in open, they realize that they want future jobs, they want their future to be secured. Even the middle class people want their children's future to be secured. So people are looking at much more inclusive development, which is development, not secularism. Because somebody says communalism is more important than corruption. I was a little surprised that that statement by Kejriwal made it. He obviously is looking also on the vote banks. The question is, it's a fight between divisive secularism and inclusive development. That's going to be the fight now.
Interesting. Does the panel agree? Ajit Sai, divisive secularism and inclusive development.
I still don't think that works. I think it is not. If I was just counting the votes in 2009 Gujarat, right? Modi has been the king of Gujarat, right, for the last 12 years. I was counting of the 26 seats while you were speaking and Mr. Chawla was speaking. I had reached constituency number 21. Out of these 21 constituencies in Gujarat, in the Lok Sabha elections of 2009, the Congress party scored more than 35% votes in 19 of those constituencies. Okay, so we love to think in terms of this guy or that guy. I think the elections in India, Lok Sabha elections in India, are far more complex and far more complicated than to depend on one individual. I think a lot of factors come into play. I think there's a lot of core constituencies that are very, very important. I am telling you, in UP and Bihar, we have seen on and on and on. Let me just give you, in 1991, 6 months after Advani was arrested in Samastipur by Lalu Yadav, 6 months after, Mulayam Singh Yadav ordered police to fire on car sevaks, the BJP drew a blank in the 40 seats of Bihar that constitute Bihar today. The BJP won 0.
The paradigm also shifted, and what explains the fact that Nitish Kumar and BJP came to power. The paradigm shifts.
We can talk about that. Surely we can talk about that. The paradigm always shifts, but what I'm saying is, there is a core constituency. See, after all, when you make an analysis...
People used to say that the alliance of Lalu Prasad Yadav is formidable. It's about...
I'm not saying... I can't answer for people.
It's about
I can't answer for big people. I speak on the basis of what...
Where do you stand?
My point is
Divisive,
that equations change. Equations change
They always
every
change.
5 years.
Of course they always change.
It's the people change. People are fed up. They want a one.
But that, surely you'll agree that is... Surely you'll agree that that is a subjective view.
Yes.
I am willing to concede you that. Yes. Surely you agree that's a subjective view.
You see how SP came to power and then BSP. It's been changing. The equation
And the
has
people
been changing.
and I completely agree with him. People get complete mandate. If you look at the elections of Uttar Pradesh of 2007 and 2012, Mulayam Singh Yadav went down to 91 and Mayawati got 201 seats. And in 2012
That's an interesting formulation,
Mayawati
Deep Tosh.
went back to 88.
And if you
Mulayam
see-
Singh-
Divisive secularism, inclusive growth.
Assembly
One at
elections
a
are
time,
giving,
get-
Rahul,
yes.
assembly elections are giving clear mandates. After 2005,
Okay.
not a single state has given a hung assembly. Clear mandate.
Okay.
Mamata got a clear mandate. Congress got a
But
clear
the
mandate.
fundamental
Karnataka.
point is, the larger point, that's been raised by Mr. Chawla, articulated as divisive secularism and inclusive development. Is there any such thing?
I think it would be too simplistic to suggest that the 2009 election secularism was a big plank. I don't think that was the case. It was a sum total of state polls which happened in 2009, in which different states threw up different numbers, and it suited the Congress tally at that point of time. And also the fact that the pro-incumbency development, I don't think that was the case. It was a sum total of state polls which happened in 2009, in which different states threw up different numbers, and it suited the Congress tally at that point of time. And also the fact that the pro-incumbency development message which the Congress has come out heavily with in 2009, that also worked. It also worked at a level, however much Mr. Sahi says that personalities don't matter, there was a keen tussle at that point of time between Mr. Manmohan Singh and Mr.
We're getting,
Advani.
we're going to go across to Mr. Fawad Halim also. One
Yes.
document. We also have with us Mr. Brijesh Kalappa. I'm being told that we are getting Mr. Brijesh Kalappa, the spokesperson of the Congress. But before we go to them, Deeptosh and Priya, very quickly, what do you think of where this fight actually lies? Deeptosh.
Well, the fight is essentially between, to some extent, between a persona here. We believe that the Congress, we've come to believe that the BJP has projected this entire race as a presidential race in a very positive, from the BJP perspective, in a very positive sort of a way that they have done very successfully. And number two, I think the fact that, there is, I agree with Mr. Chawla. Development has become a major focus. People are too tired of all these nuances that go with secularism. People are too tired of nuances that go with communalism. That, the middle class is really looking forward to a development message which will come towards them, and so also is the poor.
I think
And I want to just
delivery is the
I
key
just want to come in is this whole divisive secularism. I agree with Mr. Chawla in that BJP is underplaying the communalism card, but Congress is trying to say you are either secular or you are with Modi. So Congress is using secularism to divide the votes, hoping to get the votes against Modi.
Okay.
And the main
Fawad Halim, that could even apply. 1 minute. Fawad Halim, that could apply to also this third force, the third front. You constantly raise the communal bogey, but you don't have a cohesive outlook which can actually convince voters that they must vote for you.
Well, the communal issue will always be central to us whenever the BJP comes into a position for accessing power at the center or at any state level. But the question that the Congress now has to answer is the question of prices in the market. There have been an abject failure on their part to control prices in the market. Their role in actually bringing about development for the last person in India has been beyond repair. The other question that the Congress will also have to deal with in this election is the question of corruption, and here it shares the table with the BJP, because the various BJP-run governments have had a similar record on corruption as the Congress has had at the state and the central level. So this multifactorial election will be definitely considering prices and corruption as an issue in addition to communalism and development.
I want to bring one point in here.
Yes.
You talk about development, you talk about secularism. You are forgetting one major factor. In most of the states, you are having regional parties which are emerging, which means there is a regional aspiration which is growing. The Congress and BJP, for whatever they may do, you still need the support of regional parties.
Let me go across to Mr. Raj
This is a factor which is going to count in this
Raj
election.
Shekhar from Bangalore. Senior journalist from Bangalore. I think we have him with us, Mr. Raj Shekhar. I want to come across to you. Coming in from Bangalore. Mr. Raj Shekhar, you know, for a long while, till up to about 2004, the BJP was seen to be a fundamentally North Indian Hindi belt phenomena. But we saw in that particular election how the BJP had begun to breach into Karnataka and other citadels. Do you see that happening under Modi? Do you think there's going to be traction for the BJP in the south? Mr. Raj Shekhar, if you're there with us, do you see the BJP being able to breach the citadel of the south under Mr. Modi? Mr. Raj Shekhar, if you can hear me, this is Rahul Shivshankar.
I think, yeah, Rahul. The Modi magic works only in Karnataka in south. If you look at the political map, and the BJP also knows it very well, and the pre-poll rallies that Modi has addressed so far, some 6 rallies that he has addressed, and they're heavily depending on Modi brand to gain some electoral gains, and I think they're depending just on Modi and
but there are some important alliances that have been stitched by Mr. Modi in the south.
Next 2-3 days.
Yeah, and I want to bring in Kartikeya Sharma on these. There has been
in the
yes, Mr. Shekhar, yes, Mr. Raj Shekhar.
Yeah, Modi. Modi, as I said earlier, in south works only in Karnataka. If you see the political map, Modi, and so far he has addressed around 6 rallies in Karnataka alone, while 1 each in Andhra and in Tamil Nadu. So the BJP thinks that they have a big chance on in south in Karnataka.
Okay,
and,
so this is not
Modi can
is this true?
Do a turnaround in Karnataka.
Is this true? Because Narendra Modi in Tamil Nadu first tried to, of course, tried to woo Jayalalitha. That hasn't really worked. She's kept him guessing, and now is stitching interesting alliances. Some of them are completely in contravention with his own ideological outlook, especially on national security.
But this, you see, that's part of the larger Dalit outreach. If you look at his alliances with Athavale, Udit Raj, Ramvilas Paswan, DMDK in Tamil Nadu, this is part of his larger Dalit agenda. And in Tamil Nadu, during Vajpayee's regime, BJP had 4 Lok Sabha MPs. So it's not that the BJP had a blank from Tamil Nadu. They had 4 Lok Sabha MPs.
Okay.
So the larger point here is that despite the fact that Congress might say that it's not an election about personalities, this election has become about 2 people, Mr. Gandhi and Narendra Modi.
Okay, let's go across to Ravi Shankar Prasad, holding a press conference, putting out the BJP point of view.
न्यूज़ एक्सप्रेस आ गए खत्म हो गया आपका अभी और चल रहा है अभी और चल रहा है और देना है उसमें कुछ चुनाव आयोग ने चुनाव की तारीखों और चुनाव कार्यक्रम की घोषणा कर दी है हम इसका स्वागत करते हैं ये बहुत दिनों के बाद ये देश का ऐसा चुनाव हो रहा है जिसकी प्रतीक्षा राजनीतिक दलों की ही नहीं थी सबसे अधिक देश की जनता को थी और देश को थी देश बदलाव के लिए व्यग्र है देश ईमानदारी से आज उस पूरी प्रक्रिया की औपचारिकता शुरू हो गई है हम इस पूरे निर्णय का स्वागत करते हैं सबसे संतोष का विषय यह है कि देश के मतदाताओं की संख्या में लगभग 10 करोड़ की वृद्धि हुई है पिछले चुनाव की तुलना में, जो अब 81 करोड़ हो गए हैं। स्वाभाविक है इसमें बड़ी संख्या नौजवानों की है, वो भी बदलाव के लिए बेचैन हैं। भारत आगे बढ़े, विकास हो, सबों को सुख और शांति मिले, ये देश की उत्कंठ आकांक्षा है। हमारा स्पष्ट मानना है कि आने वाला चुनाव होगा बेरोजगारी पर, महंगाई पर, विकास के अभाव पर, भयंकर भ्रष्टाचार पर। हमें लगता था कि चुनाव की घोषणा आते आते शायद भ्रष्टाचार की श्रृंखला में कुछ कमी आएगी, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी तो कमाल कर रही है कि चुनाव की तिथि होने तक भ्रष्टाचार की नई नई खबरें आ रही हैं। तो भ्रष्टाचार बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा बनेगा। मुझे मालूम है जो भाजपा की आने वाली अपेक्षाओं से परेशान हैं, जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी की लोकप्रियता से परेशान हैं, वो फिर घिसा पिटा सांप्रदायिकता का कार्ड खेलने की कोशिश करेंगे। देश इससे बहुत आगे जा चुका है। देश बदलाव चाहता है, देश विकास चाहता है, देश महंगाई, बेरोजगारी, इन सभी ज्वलंत समस्याओं से निदान चाहता है। और हम देश को आश्वस्त करना चाहते हैं कि आज जब चुनाव की ये औपचारिक प्रक्रिया शुरू हुई है, तो हम प्रचार ऐसा करेंगे, जन जन के बीच जाएंगे और एक कांग्रेस मुक्त विकासशील भारत के बड़े स्वप्न को लेकर जाएंगे। और हमें पूरा विश्वास है जनता का आशीर्वाद हमें मिलेगा। ये कल रात से ब्लॉक है।
There you have it. There you have it. Ravi Shankar Prasad of the Bharatiya Janata Party taking a diametrically opposite view to Manish Tiwari on what for the BJP constitutes the talking points on this election. Deeptosh, do you see the line being held by the Bharatiya Janata Party right down to the first polling day?
Well, you know, development has become an issue and has become quite in stark contrast to the big failures of Congress, especially on the corruption front. And the corruption issue would not have been, you know, underlined and highlighted to such an extent without the fact that the price rise also took place at the same time. And people believed, especially the lower middle class and the poor, came to believe that these people were looting us. And obviously this on the ground level has paid off great dividends for the BJP, and the BJP has been able to bring these three issues together: corruption, price rise and development. And then, as Modi is tweeting just now, he's identifying all this with voting for India. If you vote Modi, vote for India. It's the same as what he did in Gujarat in 2012 December, when he said, you know, voting for Modi meant voting for Gujarat.
Absolutely. So, he's reduced this to a personality contest, and that's where he's also hitting the third front. Mr. Fawad Halim, you know, on corruption, there are many satraps under your tent that have a problem with that. They are not the cleanest. They've had corruption charges against them. They're battling them in some cases. Then you've had development. There are many satraps in your camp, including the left, that hasn't done a good job when it's been in power. Price rise is something else that the left failed to check when it was sharing power with the UPA in the center. So he's hitting at all the talking points that you could have actually challenged the principal players. And you also don't have what is one personality to project around which the idea of India could be sold.
Well, we are very comfortable that we do not have a personality to stitch our what you call pitch to the voters of India. But we are very clear that the Prime Ministerial candidate Mr. Modi has lost his first battle when on the day the Election Commission announces the dates of the election, his party spokesman comes out with an appeal for other people to support the BJP so that they can stitch a coalition which they have not been able to put together on the day the Election Commission announced the dates for the election. So he's lost the first battle in this election, that he has still to pitch for alliances and allies because he realizes, and the BJP realizes, that they can't do it alone. And this entire campaign they have led until today, that Modi is the central figure and the BJP is the single party and they can go it alone in this election.
Mr. Chawla, do you agree with that?
So having said that,
Mr. Chawla, do you agree with that hypothesis?
You see, question is, there's a Modi-centric election. There's no doubt about it, because there's no other prime ministerial candidate in the field which is pan-India based. Like Jayalalitha party has announced that she would be the prime minister candidate. Even Mamata indirectly has been declared as a prime minister candidate.
So has Mamata.
But Modi, by projecting Modi as the prime minister candidate, and Modi for India, vote for Modi means vote for India, means that there is a question of divisive again. You are for him or against him. He's trying to put it very clearly that Modi, either you are with him or you are not with him. I think that can work both ways. It is a very difficult situation for the BJP by projecting Modi, who also invites a lot of criticism. A lot of people don't like his personality, the way he behaves, like the way he projects. He comes out like a kind of a person who is not willing to listen to anybody else. But
Yes.
the question, he has got a good track record to say that he has done development, but other BJP chief ministers have also done equally well. But by projecting a personality like Modi, who draws a lot of criticism also, people are getting offended by the way he projects himself. So I think
Mr. Sai?
BJP has taken a calculated risk by projecting Modi as the person who can unite India, who represent India. That is a calculated risk, because that BJP is willing to play out, because they don't have any other leader who can be projected. They projected Advani, he lost out. Earlier there was Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2004. If Shining India failed, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was much more popular leader than Modi is. But Modi is trying to play up his development
is so
card,
closely
but
tied
he is
in.
not able to provide that what kind of team he can project, because in Gujarat there is no
Simple
team.
question has
It's
to be
Modi
answered.
It starts with Modi,
Is
ends with
Modi
Modi.
the BJP
Therefore,
prime
he is
ministerial
becoming
candidate or the NDA prime
symbol
ministerial
of
candidate?
India, which
I think
can
that question
go
has been
against
settled.
him as well.
No,
I think
actually,
the
that
calculated
question
risk.
has been said. Mr. Sai, and this is the problem. This is the problem. There is clarity. Whether you agree with the vision or not, there is at least clarity. There is one definite vision that is being put out and repeated ad nauseum. The left, including the third front, doesn't have one single issue to sell. The rest, they're tied up in contradictions. Rahul Gandhi doesn't quite know whether he should be pushing the rights agenda, whether he should be pushing secularism, whether he should be pushing development. The government is harping on his development credentials. Rahul Gandhi goes out there in his election rallies and talks about communalism. What's going on?
Rahul,
Ajit Sai.
can I come in for 1
Yes,
second before
please.
we move on to
Yeah,
this thought?
please.
It's just something after what Mr. Chawla said reminded me of a thought that's doing the rounds, that Modi began by selling himself on the Vajpayee model, but he's ended...
Communalism. What's going on?
Rahul,
Ajit Sai.
can I come in for 1
Yes,
second before
please.
we move on to
Yeah,
this thought?
please.
It's just something after what Mr. Chawla said reminded me of a thought that's doing the rounds, that Modi began by selling himself on the Vajpayee model, but he's ending up on the Indira model. You know, this Modi's India is Indira's India. He's going through the same phase.
And to add to this, Rahul, we are forgetting the real reason for it, and that is Congress eroded the authority of the Prime Minister's office. We are forgetting about Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister, as to why Modi is
Who was
seen
projected
as,
in 2009.
who was projected as Singh as king, you know, the person who's still our Prime Minister.
That's an important point.
And the price of transition, because, you know, Manmohan Singh 2 months before the election said he is not interested in third term. So you have the transition which is taking place and the erosion of the moral authority of the Prime Minister's office. I think
Ajit
that's
Sai,
the
how
real
much of
price
that
which
is
the
going to be an
Congress will
issue?
pay.
This
And it is in
personality
this context-
versus
it is in this
the rabble,
context Modi shines.
or a large cabal.
Rahul, there are three components to crystal ball gazing. Okay, one is the past. Second is a concept of what is happening right now. It's very subjective. And the third is what we know as opinion polls. Of course, it is entirely possible that a personality sways the electorate. But in my considered opinion and humble opinion, the Indian election, to analyze the Indian Lok Sabha election, there is no one size that fits all. We are talking about, whereas, as I said to you earlier, if you look at the voting percentages, the voting blocks, even if you go to Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, there is no running away from data from the past. The fact is, no matter who is winning, the fact is that there are certain parties that have consolidated their vote banks. Are you saying to me that Modi is going to eat into a substantial vote bank of Mayawati's Bahujan Samaj Party in Uttar Pradesh? I doubt it. Brother here was talking about BJP winning 4 seats in Tamil Nadu in 1999. BJP also won 7 seats in Andhra Pradesh in 1999. Let me tell you, if you look at the voting percentages, BJP has been so poor in Tamil Nadu, wherever it contested in 2009, 0.4, 0.9, 1.3. Similar is the story in Andhra Pradesh. The fact is both BJP and the Congress party have shriveled to a few states.
No,
in the rest of the states, it is always the dominant parties are the current political parties.
Who gets disadvantage? Who gets disadvantage?
Regional parties.
Yes.
Regional parties. And even in Maharashtra, you see the 3 biggest, most important states are UP with 80 seats, Maharashtra with 48 seats, which is number 2, and then there is Bihar. These are the 3 states on which the BJP's hope hinges. Not in Andhra Pradesh, not in Tamil Nadu,
coming to that,
not in West Bengal.
That is question 8. That is question 8. Will this election be decided in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar? Deeptosh, will that election be decided there? Or is there other factors?
You know, 1 year back, this was a big question. How does Modi win when he doesn't have Uttar Pradesh and Bihar with him? And to this third state was added that Maharashtra also. Maharashtra, the Congress and the NCP have been winning consistently for quite some time now. So obviously these 3 states, if added to the saturation states of BJP, which are already in BJP's basket, take Rajasthan, take Chhattisgarh, take Madhya Pradesh.
Yes.
If these states are added on to Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, then obviously BJP is the king.
Absolutely.
So these are the states which we're looking forward to, people were looking forward to. Now the BJP is not talking about, you know, getting a toehold or a foothold in these states. They're talking about sweeping these states. This is the great change which has happened in the last year since Modi seriously started campaigning, since he moved on from the campaign committee chief to the prime ministerial candidate, to the face of the BJP prime ministerial race. So obviously this has become a major instrument of change in the heartland.
Mr. Prabhu Chawla, is this election once again going to be decided in the 120 seats of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, or are there other factors at work here?
No, I don't think, because it has happened last 2 times also when the BJP got around about less than 29 seats and they formed the government at the center, and Congress party got only 22 seats. They got none in Bihar. They formed the government at the center. It depends on the alliances now. Because I don't think the UP and Bihar will decide. Yes, they will decide for BJP, absolutely. BJP doesn't get more than 60 seats in these 2 states, it's not going to win anywhere else.
Absolutely.
Because the question, the fight, wherever there is a fight between the BJP and the Congress, it's the BJP who stands to gain. But wherever there is a fight between regional parties and the BJP and the Congress, both of them have no chances at all.
Absolutely.
Congress party exists many more states, but they are smaller states. BJP doesn't exist in smaller states in northeast and south. They don't exist in about 220 odd seats. Therefore, the question is, if you say UP and Bihar, it is crucial for the BJP only, not for the Congress party, because Congress party already had only 22 and plus 2 in Bihar, 24 seats. It doesn't matter for them. Ultimately, the third front which will decide who will form the government.
Absolutely.
The UP and Bihar is also part of the third front because Mulayam Singh Yadav has joined the third front. And in JDU has joined the third front in Bihar.
And hence
the question is, Bihar will decide who will form the government, NDA or BJP. But for BJP to form the government under Modi, UP and Bihar are very crucial. Everything will depend how
and
BJP
that's why
in these 2 states.
And that's why Mr. Sahi and Deeptosh and Kartikya and Priya, many people are saying, and Mr. Krishna, many people are saying that the third front is only a staging ground. Ajit Sahi, do you agree? It's only a staging ground. They're all waiting the moment.
Oh, absolutely. We have seen in the past, we've seen in 1989, we've seen in 1996, before that the Janata Party experiment in 1977. VP Singh formed the government with only 144 MPs, whereas he was backed from the outside by both the BJP and the Communists, and BJP had some 85 MPs at that point in time, which went up to 120 odd in 1991.
Yes.
The fact is that this election, if the Congress is weakened, it does not automatically mean that the BJP is strengthened. With due respect to Mr. Narendra Modi, I can say that there have been occasions in the past in Indian elections where individuals have been projected, but the UP conundrum has been such, it has not thrown up. I want to add just one extra line, one more line to it.
Yes.
In 1992, when the Babri Masjid was demolished, the BJP had governments in 4 states. On the same evening, The Narasimha Rao government dismissed all the 4 state governments of the BJP. What happened 11 months later in elections? The BJP lost in 3 of those states, including Uttar Pradesh, where Ayodhya is. Okay, so it's not that easy that you just bring one lucky charm and Narendra Modi and you think everybody's going to start voting for you.
Is not necessarily going to be Mr. Modi's gate. Who agrees with this? Mr. Krishna first.
No, I would say that you have to take one thing into consideration, that regional parties, despite though BJP and Congress may emerge as the 2 largest parties, but they still require the support of the regional parties. And by and large, the regional parties today, whatever they talk about third front, they're all still fence sitters. Yes. They will wait and watch which side gets the maximum seats. As far as secularism and other things are concerned, they become secondary. Every state has its own ambition.
You see, the reason why, Rahul, if you look at 1977, the government fell because there was a clash of individuals, Charan Singh and Morarji Desai, but they were together in an organic way. The only inorganic element after 1989, when VP Singh became the Prime Minister, was Bharatiya Janata Party. The government collapsed. You see, the third front does not have that organic glue to itself. For example, do you expect BSP and Samajwadi Party to be in the same government? Do you expect CPM and Mamata to be in the same government?
The contradictions are apparent.
TDP?
The question is, who gains?
Mamata was part of Manmohan Singh government and CPM Congress.
Bottom line is you have 2 third fronts now. You don't have a 1 third front.
Okay, but Rahul, let me bring it back to the 1 minute.
Let me complete my argument. I'm saying that the regional parties will gain prominence and importance.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, when the Lok Sabha elections close, they will divide themselves between BJP and Congress.
Sir, both Samajwadi Party and BSP have supporting the UPA right now. Let me also tell you something. For the BJP to form the government is one thing. For Modi to become Prime Minister is quite another. That will be the day. I will wait and watch for the day when Mamata, SP, BSP will allow Modi to become Prime Minister. Mamata will be finished up with the Muslim vote in West Bengal. Mulayam and
we're going to head out. Two quick points I want to make here.
Yeah.
See, this experiment of the third front is completely different from the 1996 model. For a third front to conceive and to congeal, to be conceived and to congeal, we need a fulcrum of a big party. The Janata Dal provided that with more than 60 seats in 1996. We don't have such a party in such a scenario. Everybody getting 20 odd, 30 odd, that won't solve the leadership problem at all. Even the left can't take charge. So third front is out of the question. I think Modi's future, to some extent, his last mile, will depend on 3 women: Mayawati, Mamata and Jayalalitha.
Priya,
Mayawati
this is a central
and Mamata
question.
Cannot make Modi Prime Minister.
Fine.
They can
For a moment,
BJP,
let's concede
Modi.
that. But the question is, does a imploding or a shrinking Congress benefit Narendra Modi or not? Because whether you like it or not, it is only in the seats where the Congress is eroding in direct fights where the BJP can gain. Because there are satraps in all other states. We have seen it across 300 constituencies. There are other parties where the BJP has a minuscule presence.
Absolutely. I mean, where there is a direct fight between BJP and Congress, BJP gains, Modi gains. Except, I think, Bihar and UP, where the BJP feels it has a chance of eroding the regional leaders over there. I disagree with Ajit Sai on this one. BJP has got 50 plus seats in UP at one point. It may get it again. Because there is a lot of, because this is a national election. This is not an election that is being fought on state and caste issues. This is an election where people, India actually now wants one decisive leader. People are fed up of hung parliaments, as we've seen. So there will be a vote for one decisive leader who can govern, and that happens to be Modi. Rahul is not offering that alternative. However, best
well, there are many first-time voters, and I'm going to take a short break. But before that, we'll take a few reactions going into the break. I just want to leave a thought when we return, and I want to begin the next point of our debate focusing on the new voters and the urban constituencies, because many people have said that if 2009 was decided in rural India, 2014 might just be decided in urban India. So we're going to take some reactions. We're taking some reactions as we go in, and after that we'll return to other big questions. Let's play out some reactions.
कि अभी घोषणा हुई है तो इसको अभी संज्ञान में लिया गया है. अगर कहीं पर कोई बात लगेगी पार्टी को या सरकार को तो जरूर चुनाव आयोग को हम अवगत करा देंगे.
चुनाव के समय सारिणी का हम निश्चित रूप से स्वागत करते हैं और हम इस चुनाव के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं। देश में पहली दफा 81 करोड़ मतदाता वोट का प्रयोग करेंगे। ये दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र है।
नहीं, हम पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं संग्राम के लिए, और हम वेट कर रहे थे कि कब चुनाव की तारीखों की घोषणा होती है और हम काम को लगते हैं। हम बात करेंगे महाराष्ट्र की, जहां से शिवसेना लड़ेगी, बीजेपी और हमारा पूरा संगठन लड़ेगा। तो मुझे लगता है कि सिर्फ इंतजार था।
Welcome back to Decision 2014, a special coverage of a big day today when the Election Commission has set down their schedule for the general elections. They are going to be beginning on the 7th of April. They all end on the 12th of May, at least the polling does, and then over 9 phases, and then you're going to have results on the 16th of May. We will know, if we are lucky, who is going to be the Prime Minister of this country, which alliance is going to lead us for the next 5 years from here on. We are joined by our panel. Joining us, Brajesh Kalappa of the Congress, and also Shaina NC of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They are the latest to join this panel. But let me come out to Mr. Prabhu Chawla. Mr. Prabhu Chawla, one of the features of this election is going to be a massive and quantum jump in the number of first-time voters, as also, of course, the urban constituencies, which have seen a great deal of flux. There is also the added dimension of the Aam Aadmi Party that has done very well, at least in Delhi, an urban stronghold, and there as also, of course, the urban constituencies, which have seen a great deal of flux. There is also the added dimension of the Aam Aadmi Party that has done very well, at least in Delhi, an urban stronghold, and they are expecting to replicate this success across other urban constituencies. 38 other urban cities are up for grabs. Narendra Modi is the front runner there, but Mr. Kejriwal is not far behind.
You see, let me first clear one thing. This additional of new voters, 10 crore, which is happening this year, it is a biological trend which happens every 5 years. People who are 11 years old become 16, 16 years old become 19, 21. So maybe it's the percentage, in terms of percentage, may be higher, but if you go back to 2009, there are about 6 crore voters were added at that time of time. So making this as a big issue, I don't think it's that important, because this is, I said, biological additions to the population of India. Because population of India was 100 crore 10 years ago, now it is 120 crores. But yes, they will play an important role because they are much more educated. The quality of new voters has changed now. This is what is going to be more important, because they are not guided by this so-called secularism, so-called communalism, so-called casteism. Most of the voters are like that. But I am not sure about the people who come from religious minorities, because that is where it matters, because they are also divided according to community and religion-wise. These 10 crore voters will also be proportionally divided among various religions and caste and communities. So I hope that these better educated young voters will avoid shun caste and communal politics or religious politics. They will vote according to development agenda or the best candidate they can give it. They vote against corruption. The question, and again, thing I am talking about is that you raised the question about cities. 2004 and 2009, voters, it was the election decided by cities. BJP lost all the urban cities from Bombay to Delhi because they formed earlier in 1999. They won almost 29 of the 34 urban constituencies. They lost all of them during the next 2 elections. So if you are saying the rural elections were won by rural, no, BJP lost because they could not sell their shining India concept later on. And it was Manmohan Singh in 2009 who was the darling of the middle class in the country. They all voted for him because he was seen as a reformist, he was seen as a liberal economist, which he has proved to be disastrous now. That's a different issue. So I would rather say that cities will definitely decide this time also, play an important role, because Modi is selling himself more to the urban middle class, young voters, new voters who are concentrated in urban
but
cities.
there's competition
and
there.
Equally important urban areas. For example, in Delhi, Modi didn't work because he was not a chief minister candidate here.
Yes.
Kejriwal was. There was a discussion that, okay, for CM we want Kejriwal, for PM we want Modi. But the question is, I think it is urban India which will decide the fate of Modi, not
Okay,
of the
so
Congress
how
party.
is
So
Modi placed?
But I disagree. The rural India is already decided in terms of, because in most of the rural constituency, BJP doesn't exist in most of the places.
Okay, so how
it
does...
is what I'm going to say, urban constituencies will decide the fate of Modi, not rural India.
And there is competition there. Mr. Kejriwal is aggressively pushing the Aam Aadmi Party and its outlook in urban India. And we have seen that contest in Delhi, and it didn't go principally in the favor of Mr. Narendra Modi. But there are many arguments. Many people will also say that the development card, corruption, etc., associated with Narendra Modi's style of politics, and unfortunately the corruption associated with the UPA, the price rise that is incremental, will have a huge saying on the way the urban voter votes. And China NC, you have competition for that particular voter today.
Rahul, let's understand that this is a very crucial election, understood by all. But this is an election where 45% of the electorate is below 35 years of age. The first-time voters' aspirations are very different to previous voters. This is the first time where you have nota. So I think all these dynamics also have a role to play. Let's understand that this country's youth wants development. They want issues like price rise and unemployment to be addressed. They want security to be a forefrontal issue. They want women's security as an issue. And they're not going into this theatrics of divide and rule. We've seen on one hand you have the Congress, which has the biggest allegations of corruptions substantiated by facts. And then you have a political novice in Mr. Arvind Kejriwal who chooses to replicate the Delhi model, which clearly cannot be in a country as diverse as India, who chooses to play a negative kind of politics and purport anarchy, where there is a question when it comes to rule of law versus rule of mob. So I think the BJP is bang on. Narendra Modi ji's popularity cannot be undermined in any which way through the length and breadth of this country. And what we are seeking is clearly a mandate on leadership, a mandate on stability, and a mandate on progress. With this formula coupled with good candidature who strikes probability in public life, I don't think that this combination can ever go wrong. And when it comes to also analyzing urban versus rural phenomena, we have over 220 urban seats where they are educated lot also which would be voting. We've seen the percentage of vote go up so high in these assembly elections, whether it's Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, and we're hoping it would be the same this time round too.
Okay,
and if this entire lot, the thinking lot, comes out and votes, which we anticipate, it is clearly a vote for Narendra Modi. Now,
okay, Deeptosh, is that really going to translate this sort of exuberance amongst the middle classes, the city urbanites, going to translate into votes for Mr. Modi? In Delhi, there was a contest. It was three-cornered. Arvind Kejriwal had sort of seemed to have held sway over the voters. There was an enigma about him. Some of that eroded after the 45 days that he spent as chief minister, or do you think that he still has it in him to challenge Modi?
Well, I think personally, corruption, price rise and development, these are the three issues which are really worrying the urban middle class, especially the young voter who is going to come out to vote. These are the issues from which Mr. Modi will generate a lot of interest, and these are the issues from which Mr. Modi will profit a lot also in the end. But the fact of the matter is, Aam Aadmi Party, if you ask me, is restricted to Delhi. It had taken 1 year for them to build a base in Delhi, which would fetch them 28 seats. Yes, we had underestimated definitely, but they won 28 seats after working in a city for 28 years, creating the receptacle which would receive the votes, creating that organizational base. Now, do they have the organizational base in any other state, except to some extent in Haryana, where the opposition is somewhat disunited and not really presenting a credible face? The Aam Aadmi Party has nowhere really to grow. Okay. I don't see the Aam Aadmi Party, growing beyond 7 or 8 seats.
Kartikya?
I believe that age and youth and urban India, they are not tied to the same cause. You see, South Asian societies, we've seen old leaders leading youth movements. Jai Prakash Narayan, VP Singh was not a youth leader when he became the Prime Minister. So I fundamentally believe that the whole idea of strong development with urban issues, not urban issues, urban approach to developmental issues will work for Narendra Modi in this election.
Mr. Brijesh Kalappa, the icon of the youth, Rahul Gandhi would be hoping that he'll be able to galvanize some of those voters. You've pitched him as a forward-looking leader. You've pitched him as someone who has a natural connect because of the generation he belongs to with the urban voter. In Delhi, certainly, he didn't click.
You see, in Delhi we were faced with an incumbency of 15 years, but you know, what I'd like to primarily state, because everybody seems to be speaking about Mr. Modi, in 2004, when Mr. Vajpayee spoke from Shimla, he said that the continuance of Mr. Modi had cost him his government in 2004 when they were elected out. And the very same Mr. Modi, in his full form of divisiveness, has now come to occupy center stage, and he is now aspiring to be the Prime Minister. Now, as to how much of
Mr. Kalappa,
acceptance
look at the Congress approach here.
Is really to be tested.
No, Mr. Kalappa, look at the Congress's approach. I'm asking you a completely different question.
Was not able to manage to do anything at all in Delhi. You know, he failed miserably in Delhi.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
There was no strong leadership of
the party emerged as the single largest party.
Because
don't forget, Mr. Kalappa. But I'm asking you a simple question. Look at your response.
In Madhya Pradesh, there was already Shivraj Singh Chauhan.
No, but one
minute. And in Chhattisgarh, there was already Mr. Raman Singh.
Mr. Kalappa, before you railroad the discussion.
He had to prove his mettle.
No, 1 minute. Look at the response.
He flopped very badly.
No, but look at the response.
Keeping this in mind.
I don't think, I might be wrong, I don't think that urban India is singularly focused like the Congress party on the issue of secularism. Is not singularly focused on that particular issue. The elections in the 9 states over the last 1.5 years have shown that every time the Congress has raised the bogey of secularism, it has found